Stranger Things is finally back after 3 long years, and I have to admit that it's been so long that I don't even remember what was going on in the show. I kind of lost interest after season 3 because of the wait, but I have to say now that I finished the series that it is so worth it. I think this show improved the quality of the writing, of the story, of everything in season 4, and it really does a great job with its episodes. And it's the longest season too. It has some really long episodes that are like an hour and a half. Even the finale is like 2.5 hours, which is like the longest episode I've seen in a show. Basically like full-on movies. And I gotta say, every second was worth it. It really expands the Stranger Things universe in a lot of ways. And so without further ado, let's get on to it, because there's a lot to unpack in season 4. So starting with the fact that Stranger Things 4 is infinitely more terrifying than any of the other previous seasons. Like before, it was kind of like a science fiction cute story of a kid. It's kind of like with It elements, kind of like with elements from other stories like Stephen King novels. But this one really takes the horror to the extreme. And I gotta say, especially like in the first 3 episodes, there's a new villain that is one of the most horrifying things I've seen in a movie. And the way he attacks, the way he kills his victims is just like gnarly and like horrifying in every way. So seeing these elements really made my skin crawl, and that's something we've never seen before in Stranger Things. So I think this 4th season did a great job with the style and the tone, and especially with the ambient. I feel like even like the soundtrack, the way the characters react to certain situations really increased the tension. I feel like the stakes are way higher in season 4 than in the previous ones, and really get to see this from beginning to the really intense conclusion. It takes a lot of inspiration, especially from stories such as Silent Hill and Resident Evil, which really surprised me, like those kind of influences. Again, I see a lot of Stephen King in it, and now let's analyze the villain. So before I continue any further, I gotta say that this review is going to contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen Stranger Things 4, stop it right here, because we're going to go full on spoilers from here. So anyways, the main villain of the show is this being called Vecna, which is later revealed to be a guy named Henry, who became a test subject in the same facility that Eleven was in. We saw this during the previous episodes, like Eleven's training, but we never saw this part of her that kind of like deals with a lot of issues that have to do with the villain. So really seeing him in this role was interesting, and the way this character relates to the universe, to the person who trained Eleven herself, I thought it was really interesting, and it does a lot of also work in the previous seasons, like with the story. The way this character is designed is fantastic, and he was like almost practical effects, I believe. So the way like he moves around and talks, and his motivations, which are not really clear in the beginning, but later we just learn he's pure evil, really like add a lot to the series. And I really enjoyed Vecna. I think is like the way the characters kind of learn about him and try to stop him was really well done. So I think this is the best, one of the best villains we've seen in a long time in television or in movies. So the main plot of Stranger Things 4, it takes up place like a year after season 3, after they defeated the creature from the Upside Down that went into the world and starts absorbing people. Now we face a new threat, and Vecna comes into this world, starts opening portals, killing people. So naturally they start to investigate why he's killing people, and it starts with one of the main characters, Eddie, which was one of my favorite ones from the season. I loved Eddie so much, and we're gonna go more into him later. So he basically gets framed for the death of a girl who gets killed by Vecna. And he goes on the run. He's a friend of our main characters, our main cast. So they start to investigate who really killed this girl, who killed some other people. And that's when they start to get into some really deep stuff. And over the first part of the season, because it's divided in 2 parts, the first one was released in May, the second one a couple of days ago, was really well done. I feel like that whole build-up did a great job at providing like a mystery adventure that pays off in the second half, which is like straight up action and horror, like pumped up to the max. And also this season, because it's the longest, it has the most facets to it. So we see like several different stories that intersect and separate from each other. Starting with Eleven's story, which I thought was kind of slow. So she basically lives in California with Will, and Mike comes to visit them. And I feel like the first part with her trying to fit in her new school was well done, but then the later like laboratory training part kind of slowed down at first, but then kind of like pays off with the revelation of who Vecna really is. And then Mike's story with Will, his brother, and some new characters was also fun. It was probably the best, like the funniest story, especially Argyle, which is a new character who's hilarious. I feel like his role was really well done in this season. We get a couple more plots, especially back in Hawkins, which is the main plot of the kids trying to find out Vecna, like trying to, find him in his hiding place so they can kill him. Then there's another plot with Joyce, who goes to Russia to rescue Hopper, which they learn he's alive, obviously, because they can't kill Hopper. We didn't see him die in the last season. And that plot was one of my favorite ones. I thought it was really entertaining, very action-packed, which was a big change of pace for Stranger Things, but I still figured out it was really good. I thought it was great the way they executed it. So anyways, at the end, all these stories intersect. There's a lot of build-up, especially a lot of action. We see far more action in this one, especially in Hopper's side and the main, character's story. I feel like they increased the budget in every way. Especially there's a lot of scenes that feel more like high scale, kind of like if it was a Marvel movie, which is really strange coming from a TV show that Netflix produced. So they realized that Stranger Things was basically their most important property right now. And they were like, yeah, let's go full budget right now, and worked in every possible way. So I really appreciated that. It made for a great show, especially towards the end. Stranger Things 4 especially has a better soundtrack than some of the other seasons, especially with the Kate Bush song that got really popular. And the relationship of that song with Max is really important. And I got to appreciate Max more in this season because I felt like her role was kind of unimportant. She was kind of an annoying character in season 2 and a little bit of season 3. But in this one, I really got to empathize with her. It ends in a really strange way that I can't wait to see what happens with Max in the future because her character really gets messed up at the end of the season. And yeah, so that's a little bit of a spoiler, but it happens, and it happens with a lot of characters. Honestly, I expected way more carnage towards the end, especially like some beloved characters getting killed off and stuff. But I feel like season 5 is going to be much more intense. Like, we didn't see Vecna die, so that means something is going to happen. And yeah, basically the season ends with the entire Hawkins opening a portal to the underworld, the Upside Down, and it really becomes intense. So I see a lot of Silent Hill influences. That's one of my favorite game franchises. So seeing, especially I think I saw an article from the Duffer Brothers where they confirmed that a lot of the plot elements from this season came from Silent Hill. So I was really happy to see that. So yeah, in general, I feel like this was a great season. I think it did everything it wanted to do and surpassed all my expectations. It is far better than all the other ones. I feel like they're really starting to, kick it into high gear. And I hope that season 5 is as long as this one, because this one had a lot of elements that really feel like it needed the length of some of the episodes. I think it was 9 episodes, but there were a couple that counted for 2 with how long they were. And if season 5 is better, even longer, I'm gonna be really happy. I hope we don't go the Game of Thrones route of making the final season super short or something like that. But yeah, I loved Stranger Things 4 so much better than the other ones. It really revived my love for this series. And yeah, so please go watch this series. Even if you haven't seen any of the seasons, I really recommend watching them until this point because it's getting really good. And the season 5 is gonna be the last one, so I'm really excited for that. It's probably gonna come in 4 years, seeing the gaps between seasons, but I hope it's great. So anyways, I'm going to give Stranger Things 4 a 90 out of 100. I think it's the best season so far. One of the best, works of television this year. And yeah, that'll be everything for today, guys. So see you later. And if you like this review, share it, like it, all that. And yeah, that'll be everything. See you later.